Love for crypto. Just wait to see if anyone comes and joins in. Can't see so far. It might lag at my end for updating for people to watch, so I'm just gonna probably leave it for about a minute or two, just while the room fills up a little bit. I was gonna make a video about this, but it's just fucking about loading it all up and shit. I thought I may as well just go live with it. You know, it's not dangerous, it's just fucking recording the road in it. So yeah, I'll just leave it for a couple more minutes. How's it going, everybody, anyway? Welcome back to Love for Crypto. Thanks for tuning in. Watched Scott's video earlier on about the price. Nice little video. If you've not checked that out, have a little watch of that after this. But we're going to be speaking about SBI today. Someone just said, have you seen the tweet from SBI? Mate, I've seen fucking loads of tweets from that Yoshi Katal, which I'm going to go into today. Because our Telegram group is fucking on fire. It's like fucking hype central at the moment. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or not. It's fucking bullish as fuck, but we'll go into it. So basically, okay, we'll start now. SBIVC, it launches this month. It's going live. Now, we've heard Yoshi Katal again in many tweets. SBIVC will be the #1 exchange in the world in the blink of an eye. And I think a lot of people have been waiting for that fucking blink, because since he said that, it's been about fucking 8 months. So that's something to take note in regards to that. But no, we're going to go into it in detail today. SBIVC, what exactly they are, what they're helping offer in regards to solutions for this ecosystem moving forwards. Now, we've got Yoshi Katal that's come out with a very broad tweet as of recent. You'll be able to find it on our Twitter feed. 20 of the world's top banks will be using XRP for payments this calendar year. We've had Brad Garlinghouse come out saying that banks will hold digital assets on their balance sheets this year. Obviously, we've had the blink of the eye moment for the exchange. You know, once it launches, it'll be #1 in the blink of an eye this year. Now, there's a Ripple Insights documentation, and it does talk about SBIVC in there a lot. And basically what it says in there, it says once SBIVC is live, they can then act as a liquidity solution for market takers. When I say market takers and market makers, SBIVC is going to be a market maker. There's going to be a shit ton of fucking buy orders and sell orders, and to make sure that the liquidity pool is there for all these payments, the SBIVC will be stepping in and acting as a market maker, enabling market takers, i.e. the banks, i.e. payment companies, i.e. institutions, to be able to use XRP as a bridge to go from one currency into another currency, or from one asset into another asset. Nobody knows what the date of the launch is this month. But it's this fucking month, make no mistake about it. But what are we going to expect from it? You know, there's been tweets of Yoshi Katal retweeting $10 end of year. It didn't happen this year, but, you know, just a little sort of contradicting note against that. The Japanese financial year is not yet over. Now, I'm not making this video to hype people, to say, oh, it's going to hit $10 this month. Hey, listen, the possibility is fucking there for it. The possibility is there for it. We know how highly involved SBI are in this space, in the DLT space, in providing this new monetary system to enable value to move across the internet of value. I know there's a lot of you that are commenting, but I'm driving, so it's going to be hard for me to even attempt to read them. It'd be quite dangerous for me to do so. So just bear with me in regards to the questions and you know, the comments that you're putting across. SBI, as a consortium, are the highest stakeholder in R3. They've created two I mean, I don't really know what the best way of calling it, of what this is, but you've got Ripple SBI Asia. You've got R3 SBI Asia. Now, obviously, SBI have created partnerships with these two companies. SBI having a 60% share in both, Ripple having 40% in the Ripple partnership, and R3 having 40% in the partnership. Now, obviously, R3 offering smart contracts, offering a smart contract layer on top of the XRPL is a good way of putting it. And Ripple and XRP will be the payment settlement side of things, offering that instant settlement. Now, we've all been anticipating SBIVC to go live. I mean, probably myself more than anybody else, in hoping that they go live. Well, they are going live. You know it, they are going. Now, what we all want to know is what the fuck's going to happen when you do go live. It's hard to say. It really is hard to say. But I'm going to play devil's advocate on both sides here. I'm going to do bullish and bearish, because we both need to understand both sides of the coin. We need to prepare for anything that can happen, really, to a degree. So we're going to go into it now. So let's talk about the positives. We've got Japan, which is pretty much nearly on the brink of regulatory clarity. We've got the FSA, which, if you look back last year, you know there was a major delay because there was a major exchange hack in Japan, where the exchange had to borrow money from the banks in order for the customers to receive back the assets that were stolen. Again, you know, we're talking about the internet, we're talking about the security, we're talking about the custodianship of these assets being safe, and for regulators to be there for consumer protection. It's a massive fucking thing, isn't it, at the end of the day? You know, you can't just start pumping billions into an asset class that isn't safe. Now, obviously, all that sort of uncertainty around that has seemed to have cleared up. And I think March this year, we might actually hear something from the FSA for that regulatory clarity, for the definition of what these assets actually are. You know, are they commodities? Are they currencies? Are they securities? Nobody fucking knows what they are. Everybody's hedging bets against it at the moment. It's the wild, wild fucking west of the world. That's where we are at the moment. Now, we've got Russia. Vladimir Putin issued a 4-week deadline to his regulators that he wants definition in 4 weeks. We've got India that are doing the same. We've got the UK that are doing the same. And all this is before June. We've got about 8 or 9 nations, G20 country nations, that are issuing regulatory clarity surrounding these digital assets. I.e., are they currencies? Are they taxable for each transaction? All this shit. We've heard it all in America. It's all there in America, isn't it, realistically? You know, with the SEC, with the CFTC, you know, the laggards, they're way behind the curve in regards of the US. But places like Japan, places like Singapore, places like Thailand, places like the Philippines and Mexico, they are borderline fucking ready for banks to be able to hold and to be able to deal with these digital assets for cross-border payments. And that is the game plan. That is the game plan. Again, just to play that devil's advocate, we've got SBIVC that are going to be acting as market makers. They're going to enable a liquid enough pool for global settlements to pass through at this early stage of this revolution. You know, eventually central banks undoubtedly will be playing a role in this. But at this point, we're talking about remitters. You know, XRP is live, XRapid is live. But if you recall back to Dan Morgan into the EU Parliament as he was addressing them, XRapid is commercially available, but it isn't live to banks due to the regulations. So yeah, you might be hearing about Qualix, you might be hearing about Mercury FX. You know, oh, they've been sending £4,000 across borders. It's fucking beautiful. 80% fucking saving and not having a pre-fund in nostrils. Whoopie fucking do. Who gives a fuck about remittance payments? It's the baby. It's the crawl, walk, run scenario all over again. We've got these companies live, trialing it, testing it. It works. You know, banks aren't going to be first in onto this industry, and central banks will be the last. I can assure you that. But they are all coming. And it all comes down to regulation. So we've got SBIVC launching in March. There's major anticipation for it. I think what it is with myself personally, I've had high hopes for many, many things across this journey, and nothing has come to fruition. Now, this is different. You know, we are talking about stakeholders in Ripple. We're talking about somebody in Japan who's pushing for XRP to become the global standard of payments, to become the global standard for interoperability via the Interledger protocol, alongside the WFEC group, alongside the central banks, the commercial banks, and all sorts of other fucking banks and shit and institutions and organisations throughout the world. The only thing that's holding my ultra fucking bull fucking Kurt, that you know, when I'm screaming down the phone, is I've yet to see anything come out of Japan in regards of regulatory clarity surrounding digital assets. And for me personally, for commercial banks, for your tier 3, 2 and 1 banks to be out there sourcing XRP as a form of liquidity without regulations isn't going to happen. It is not going to happen. Now, there's a lot of counter arguments against this. You've got multi-hop, which completely removes that regulatory clarity and certainty by central party in the XRP ecosystem taking on that settlement risk and taking on the risk of holding the asset for that duration of the settlement. Now, yeah, I may be very well wrong. Listen, SBIVC may come along. They may be an integral part of that multi-hop fucking system, and banks all across the world may start using it, but I just don't see that happening. Now, with SBIVC, you know, SBI themselves, you're talking a branch of 22 million customers. You're probably talking about 8 million customers that will probably be heavily involved with the SBIVC launch, maybe. We're talking about institution investment into the space, because SBIVC will be providing that custody. They will be providing that solution for banks to be able to dip their toes into this system. I mean, listen, 80% of the banks in Japan are using X-Current. We've got MoneyTap, that is using X-Current. We've got banks incorporated all over the fucking world paying customers of Ripple that are using X-Current. It's a flick of a switch to start using XRP. But again, without the regulations, we're not going to see that broad usage from the banks. This isn't me being negative. This is me trying to come across and deliver this information as neutral as possible. Not pro-bull, not pro-bear. Again, Yoshi Kitao has stated, and if you don't know who Yoshi Kitao is, he's the president of the SBI consortium, the SBI group. He's the most bullish Japanese fucking man on the planet in regards of XRP. Now, he has come out in a tweet and he has stated that 20 of the world's global banks, the top banks of the world, will be using XRP for payments this year. We've heard Brad Garlinghouse. They'll be holding it on the balance sheets. The Bank of England answered our question during the Future of Money. Banks in England actually can hold digital assets on their balance sheets. You just need to be extremely careful, again, because it's an unregulated market. You've got a lot of, you know, if you want to call it fraud in the market with your wash trading and your manipulation, it's clear as fucking day. It's crystal fucking clear how heavily manipulated this market is. Now, will billions of capital be pumped into the market knowing that it's an unregulated market still? I'm going to talk about this. Once we've got all these classifications for the assets, once it's either a commodity for the US in regards, it'll fall under the CFTC. If it's a security, it will fall under the SEC. And when we've got this broad adoption of regulations across the board, manipulators won't be able to act the same way that they do. It will be a market that is broadly being analysed for this type of market manipulations, and then obviously the people that are acting in bad manners can then be prosecuted because the asset, because it's the first time in over 300 years is the birth of a new asset class. Of course things are going to be slow, of course there's going to be uncertainty around the world, but honest to God, we've got about 8 or 9 G20 fucking countries in the next 3 to 4 months coming out with defined regulatory clarity around what these assets are, and we are going to start seeing headwinds very, very, very shortly with all this type of regulations coming out. We've said on this channel for a long fucking time, regulations and custody is absolutely essential moving forwards. It's great for us retail investors to go and use our Yrexes or our Revoluts or our Coinbases, or our Bitrexes and Bitfinexes, we're only putting in a small, substantial amount of capital in comparison to what banks will be needing, to what banks will be moving. Listen, I don't need to go into statistics about how much money travels across borders. 6 trillion is daily payments. You know, let's not even talk about derivatives because it'll blow people's fucking heads off. You know, we're potentially talking about 16 trillion daily settled worldwide in currency and in derivatives in forms of securities. It's fucking monumentally uncomprehendable for working class people like myself to even try and take in a magnitude of the amount of volume that passes from currencies and assets for settlements. Now, R3 are going to be acting, in my eyes personally, they're going to be attacking that derivatives market at full fucking force. And SBI will be wanting a stake in that as well, as he's got a major... In fact, SBI are the largest stakeholder in SBI, alongside Rothschild. Yeah, they are a major investor of SBI. I'm not trying to obviously use it as some form of conspiracy, but it just goes to show that Rothschild are heavily integrated with that as well. You know, we've got Ripple in dialogue with 50 of their central banks, with the IMF, with the World Bank, with the W3C group. Well, listen, this shit is 100% coming, but is it coming this month is the question. Are we going to see that catalyst this month is the question. You look at Twitter, you go in our Telegram, and you fucking hell, it's like people, the Reds are fucking blowing off with sheer excitement. I'm excited, don't get me wrong, but I'm also looking at it in, you see what I do in my investment, I try and look at the negatives, I try and find things for it not to work, and I have done all year, and you know, up to now, I've not been able to. Everywhere I fucking looked, every corner that I've turned round, David Schwartz is there with a big fucking cheesy grin on his fucking face. Everywhere you look, they're there. Everywhere you look, they are there. Your Temenoses, your CGIs, your SAPs, they're everywhere. All the major banking integrators, all the major fucking banks, all the major central banks, the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, the IMF, the World fucking Bank, you fucking name it, they are there. Now, the only thing that isn't there is regulations, and I have yet to see any form of regulation either come from Japan, from Russia, from India, from Singapore. I've not seen no clear-cut regulation. And I'm sure, if I'm not seeing it, I'm sure the banks will be wanting to see that more than myself before they start utilising XRP as a source of liquidity, before they start adding it to its balance sheets. Because nobody knows if it's a security, a currency, a commodity. I mean, obviously, we know it is not security, but I'm just using this as a devil's advocate. Can you tell me that it's not security? Because I've yet to see it anywhere across the world say that it's not a fucking security. In fact, there might be parts across the world that have claimed that it's not security, or there may be reputable people claiming that it's not security. Hey, look, listen, we all know it's not a security. Personally, I think it's more a currency. I genuinely believe it is a currency. Just as the FinCEN, if you don't know who FinCEN are, they are a regulatory body within the US. There was a lawsuit held against Ripple, and they defined XRP as a currency. Now, obviously, you've got everything up in the air with the SEC. Listen, that's fucking smoke and mirrors. There's nothing else to it. But the point I'm trying to make is if I can't see regulations, and if regulations aren't there, then the banks don't know what these assets are. And the banks can't go balls deep in an asset that is not an asset because it hasn't been defined as an asset. I hope that makes sense to you. I know it's a little bit confusing. I mean, don't get me wrong, listen, SBIVC is opening its order books to the world. Now, what that basically enables is you can have buy orders and sell orders. Now, XRP, don't get me wrong, could pump a shit ton of volume through SBIVC without regulations. SBIVC may take on that risk of what this asset is. For example, if a bank in America wants to utilise XRP, it can use it through XRapid via multi-hop. SBIVC can act as a market maker, and the market takers, i.e. the bank I've just said, can now use XRP as a source of liquidity. But, you know, I like to look at this on a broad term scale. Once we've got regulations there, once we've got absolute crystal clear clarity of what these assets are, then banks will start adding it to its balance sheets. You know, that is the ultimate goal, the ultimate aim, is for banks to be adding these assets to its balance sheets. You know, it's okay for it being on open order books and exchanges. Listen, we need to have open order books and a broad use of reputable, that come out a bit funny, reputable exchanges, i.e. all the Ripple partners. So we've got some sort of price discovery mechanism. That's why we have an open market. Now, yeah, people can argue an open market should be open, but it's heavily suppressed at the moment. It's heavily manipulated, so it's not exactly open. But as a price discovery mechanism, these are the things we need. We need these exchanges, i.e. SBIVC. Now, again, if SBIVC does moon to $10, which it can capably do, you are going to have so much fucking arbitrage. It's untrue. It's untrue. If one exchange has got XRP at $10 and the rest have got them at fucking 40 cents, 30 cents, 20 cents, 50 cents, listen, people are going to move their assets over to that exchange because obviously it's selling that fucking $10 over there. So you've got to weigh in the arbitrage. You've got to weigh that factor in. It's a massive key point to weigh in. You can't just have one exchange, bam, it's just gone to $10 fucking dollars. Not all the other exchanges aren't going to put their prices to $10. What's going to happen is you're going to get a lot of people coming out of them exchanges to try and sell it. You know, it's a lucrative, profitable game, arbitrage. You know, people make fucking millions, billions globally, annually in markets in arbitrage for exchanges, especially crypto markets. You know, we've seen it with South Korea. They were selling XRP at $4.10 while the rest of the world was selling at $2.80. That's why CoinMarketCap removed South Korea. Now, obviously, there was a bigger agenda behind that, because as soon as they did that, XRP artificially stripped $30 billion in value, and then obviously it caused mass selling panic, and the rest is fucking history. So obviously bear that in mind. Please do bear that in mind. Please bear in mind the arbitrage that we are going to see. Now, listen, I don't know what to expect from this. I really don't know what to expect from SBIVC going live. Is it going to be extremely pro-bullish? Are we going to see the fucking value rocket to the fucking skies? Or are we going to see absolutely fuck all like we have done with everything else? Because we've not got no regulations. Yeah, we have got custody. We've got your likes of Fidelity. You've got the likes of Bax that are launching very soon. Well, I think they've actually said the back end of the year. Fidelity supposedly launching in March. Listen, don't be surprised if you see a postponement of that as well. But we've got a lot of stuff happening this year. We've got the Basel III agenda, which is major. You know, speaking to Chris Ness out of our Telegram group about this. And it's basically an instruction to banks across the world that they have to have a form of API plugin. Now listen, that's fucking rattling alarm bells to me. We've got the biggest financial crisis ever to be witnessed by mankind on the horizon. We have got the biggest economic destructional pathway we are walking down. You know, these statements coming out saying that the US Treasury will be broke in September. And don't forget, you know, the US dollar acts as the global form of currency in regards of moving value and settlements. It contributes to over 63% of global demand via trade, via buying your commodities, your oil, your gold, your silvers, and all sorts of other assets. The US dollar at the moment is the predominant figure, but we've got the Triffin's dilemma. And what that basically means is, if you've got a nation, the United States of America, acting as the global reserve currency, i.e. the United States dollar, then they are a debt issuing country. As the global demand for the dollar rises, the Federal Reserve print dollars, print debt, because that's all it is debt, and they issue it out to around the world. Now, it's an unsustainable path that we're on. We've just breached the 22 trillion in US debt, denominated debt. Global debt, we're talking 250 trillion, because we're working upon a debt issuing system. Since 2008, we've just had the largest wave of quantitative fucking easing in the entire fucking world that we've witnessed. The markets are addicted to printed money. It's an unsustainable path. It's the devaluation of currencies. We've had the Federal Reserve completely slam on the fucking brakes and do a completely 180-degree turn from their so-called autopilot unwinding of the balance sheets, from increasing interest rates. I can assure you, during the next Federal Reserve interest rate hike, we remain neutral, or we could potentially go lower. But the days of interest rates going higher whilst on this current monetary system are over. We cannot have interest rate normalization no more because of the current system. Now, obviously, here at Love for Crypto, we personally believe that this is what the entire purpose of Interledger Protocol and the XRPL is to move away from the independence of the dollar. So when we do have this crisis, which we are fucking going to have, we have not got worldwide contagion attached to the dollar. We have got an alternative system to provide liquidity in order for payments and settlements to occur. That's the fucking reality of the world. It really is. Honestly, people will think that I'm talking shit or I'm crazy. Listen, you've got Christine Lagarde going round fucking educating the world, fucking preaching globalization, preaching financial inclusion. Financial inclusion, don't get me wrong, it's great for the world, and it sounds really bad for me saying this, because it really is a good thing. You think about all the people that aren't banked, but listen, that is being used as a fucking dangling the fucking carrot in front of the donkey. This is about control of money, control of power. This is what this is about. Now, yeah, they're going to throw stuff like, oh, financial inclusion. Bill Gates has stated that poverty will not exist in 2030. Who the fuck is not going to buy into that? But look what happened with the internet. Look what's happening with your data. Look what Edward Snowden uncovered by the NSA, spying on all of its fucking civilians. Billions of data being issued back to the security agencies. You've got your Google Earth, created alongside an American fucking government agency. So you think it's just Google Earth? What? You're fucking no. It's for the fucking, it's for the elite, it's for the globalists, it's for the establishment. It's control and power. And this system is going to give them the ultimate form of control. We're talking about financial fucking enslavement. If you're a bad actor during the digital, you know, when we go into a tokenized economy and everything is digital, if you even fucking fart in the wrong direction, you'll get booted off the system. We've already seen it in China with the social credit. You know, if you've got a shit social credit score, you can't even get on a fucking train. Now, I know China's a communist country, and I know it's a little bit OTT when you want to talk about Western worlds. But listen, we're going into a digital, tokenized economy. The tokenization of everything. And when I say everything, listen, the true game, the true end game is tokenization of us. Of us. No more fucking manipulation. No more being able to send your money overseas for tax evasion. This is the true beauty of this technology, and this is why the globalists, the establishment, the IMF and the name-dropping Ripple, oh, this great new fucking technology. Yeah, listen, people think Bitcoin was created by a mysterious entity called Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008. But fucking funnily enough, the NSA had the exact same fucking white paper in 1994. We've heard people like Kevin Shipp talk about the globalist agenda, a one world government, supplemented by a one world currency, and they're passing through the SDR basket and eventually into digital currencies. These are people that have worked for people with the highest level of clearance in these security agencies. It's fucking crazy, and I don't know how we've even got on to speaking about this. We're supposed to be speaking about SBIVC, which we'll go back onto. For me personally, you know, I'm driving down the fucking motorway on my way to work. You know, I'm not a fucking financial fucking, I'm not an economist. I'm not a tech fucking, I haven't got no PhDs in technology. You know, my sophistication around computers is considering that I'm preaching the fucking digital revolution. But what I do need to talk about is, there's a lot of people that have got high hopes on SBIVC erupting the fucking world into a shitstorm of fucking price fucking increases. Listen, it could happen. It could fucking happen. I'm not trying to say it's not going to happen. I just want people to be prepared for it not to happen. We've not got that clear-cut set of regulations for banks to be diving in there. to be wanting a part of this system, to be able to interact with digital assets, because without regulations, banks can't just be negligent and think, oh God, yeah, I can get an 80% cost saving from that. I can bring all my nostril capital back home, pre-fund my own currency and use this digital asset whenever I want. It's not even fucking regulated to do so. So how's it going to happen if it's not regulated to do so? That's my argument against it. Now, yeah, I've been saying for so fucking long that SBI are integral with it. But we also do need to understand that we're going to have some form of regulation alongside it. But one thing I will say on top of that is we are so fucking close to regulations. You know, here over in the UK, I think it's around April or May, we will have our classification of what these assets are. We will know what they are. Are they securities? Are they currencies? Are they commodities? Once they are passed as currencies, then they will be regulated as currencies. Banks can then use them as currencies. It all depends on regulation. It all depends on reputable custodianship of these currencies. Now, we've got Polysign, which is supposed to be acting. It's supposed to be integral. Listen, digital identity moving forwards by transacting with these currencies is essential. Now, I'm not talking about the overall population here when I say this. I'm more so talking about banks. We're talking about your KYC, your anti-money laundering. Listen, all the banks are compliant with Ripple technology, with X-Current, with the Ripple products are AML and KYC compliant. But again, you know, without jurisdictions defining what these assets are, without regulations, unfortunately, they're just going to continue to keep using X-Current until that day arrives. And listen, that day is not so fucking far away. Believe me, you. Believe me, you. It is coming. We're not far from it. Listen, this year, by the end of this year, the catalyst will have happened. Where that catalyst comes from, who knows? But another thing to add to note is, we're going to have the fucking economic downfall. The biggest crisis of all fucking time. Of all fucking time we're talking here. It's going to be fucking uncomprehendable. The people just absolutely, completely unaware of what's happening. And these two things are so much in parallel with each other. It's untrue. It really isn't true. In my eyes, it's going to sound a bit conspiracy nut, but this technology is the saviour. This is the technology to prevent Armageddon from happening, from bank closures, from money not being able to move across the world because there's no liquidity in the US dollar, because it's been diminished. It acts as 63% of global trade. Yeah, we've got the Chinese yuan, which is moving up there, which alone it is a reserve currency, but it is not the reserve currency. It'll cause fucking chaos. We need a system to be able to transact independently against from one identity. China was calling for this in 2009 for a supranational currency, specifically branding the Griffin's dilemma as the problem of the 2008 financial crisis. And ever since that, it's all about let's update our RTGS systems. We need them to be able to interoperate with each other without going through the US dollar. This has been the plan for the past 10 years. This is why the QE, the injected and printed money, has just gone back into the economy at record speeds. Listen, this monetary system is coming to a dawn. And the rise and revolution of the new digital age is upon us. We're about to be regulated. Once we're regulated, banks are going to be fucking going in this shit balls deep. Make no mistake about it. We've already heard from around the world, all the institutions, including central banks with CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. It's unbelievable. Now I'm hoping from the bottom of my heart that people who followed this channel, people that bought XRP because of the education we've provided to those people, get a taste of what a bull run is like. Because I've tasted it myself, and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable waking up in the middle of the night, checking the price. Oh, it's up 30%, it's up 40%, 70%, 110%. It's fucking unreal, believe me. But that speculative wave is over. At the moment, we are a speculative asset. We're being used on a minuscule level by minuscule volume. Listen, the total global remittance of somewhere like India is at 150 billion. Listen, we want to be seeing 150 billion in a fucking day, not in a year. And it's banks, it's tier 1 banks, tier 2 banks that are going to provide that volume. It's the likes of SBIVC and the consortium of over 50 banks on RippleNet, on Xcurrent, that can instill volume like that through this asset. That's what we're after. Your remittance is a fucking trial. Honest to God, it's a fucking trial. Yeah, it's great for people who want to send money home. Bullshit, I don't give a fuck about that, mate. I want to see real fucking volume. I want to see these trillions coming into this asset, which I know will come into the asset inevitably. It will come into this asset inevitably, but it'll take time. But listen, we've just heard from Instamatch are doing trials of 138 fucking billion a day through this technology. We've heard it from Yoshi Katal direct. Now, will this be sandboxed? Will this be off open order books? Who fucking knows? Who knows what happens when SBIVC goes live? What's stopping Instamatch using XRP then? What happens when we've got that institutional demand and we've got all the money passing into XRP that can then support enough liquidity for these trials? You know, it is live, but it's not live for banks because of regulations. That's all. That's the only message I want to get out today. If SBIVC launches and absolutely fuck all happens to the price, and we've not heard regulatory clarity come from Japan, well, that's your reason why. That will be your reason why. Listen, investors in Japan, and I'm presuming it's predominantly going to be SBI, Japanese investors utilising, you know, this form of open order, but they're not going to be fucking pumping billions of their own money into this fucking asset class if Japan have not regulated it, if they've not got any form of protection from the regulators. They're just not going to do it. They're not going to do it because it's susceptible to manipulation. Until we see regulations, ladies and gentlemen, in my eyes, we ain't going to see shit. It might be hard for people, and I'm hoping I'm swallowing my own fucking words this month. I really do. You know, I have been contrarian for once. And I know DM Logic likes to be contrarian, but I'm being contrarian for the sake of our followers. Listen, people used to call me the king of hype, but we've got a following now where I have to actually think about other people. I don't want people just fucking throwing all the fucking wage in because SBIVC is launching and Wolf of Crypto said it's going to go to $10 overnight and fucking nothing's happened. You know, I've got a duty of care to adhere to now, which, you know, in the past we didn't have. We just didn't. But listen, obviously I've got high hopes of SBI. They are going to be essential for the price catalyst of this fucking digital asset XRP. And listen, who knows, it might launch on the 10th and we may start seeing 100% increases in a day, 150%. We may see it go all the way to fucking $5 in the blink of an eye. We could see it happen. But I've also been seeing lots of messages on Twitter, lots of negative comments from the bitches. What's going to happen when SBIVC launches and nothing happens to the price? I know for certain there's a good 20% of XRP holders out there that will start doubting this technology if they do not see the price increase. I know for a fucking fact they will. There's people out there like myself who don't give a fuck about the price because there's only one way that this technology is going, and there's a fucking slim chance that it won't come to fruition at this point. Not when you got fucking Brad Garland now stuck next to Christine Lagarde of the IMF. They're fucking literally advising the IMF. The IMF have chose the direction because they're out there educating people about the digital economy. Listen, the IMF have already chosen what's happening. That's now why through. That's why now they're going through the educational process, and it will be the integrational process towards the back end. Make no mistake about it. But again, it's all about regulations, and regulations are holding this back. You've heard all the fucking FUD from the SEC. Oh, it's going to be security. Listen, it was the ultimate price suppression tool used in 2018. We've seen fucking bogus bullshit lawsuits coming out. This is why Ripple have took their lawsuit case to the federal level. They've applied for it to remain on the federal level. So then they've got a federal ruling that it is not a security. Listen, we've got all this shit to come and it's happening. I personally myself feel that this bull run is going to be on the back end of Q3 leading into Q4. I think we're going to get regulatory clarity from nations. Then we can start seeing banks fully commit to this. This new payment system, this new network that's being created, the internet of value, you know, enabled by the Interledger protocol, I think we will start seeing that. But again, you know, just because regulation's going to come out, bam, it's not just going to shoot up. You know, people might be on the fence, waiting for regulation, so then they can start making their own moves, which may take time. But listen, this system, the monetary system, the USD SWIFT system, has not got a lot of time left. And when we experience this financial crisis, there's $5 to $10 trillion of capital that is locked up around the world that will be fucking essential for stimulus to put back into the economy. That's not bogus QE. It's actually money that's there, that's tied up, that can't be used because it needs to be accounted for settlement. Once we've got an instant settlement, that's capital, that's risk-free for capital. Listen, that 5 to 10 trillion is coming back home, ladies and gentlemen. And it can act as a form of stimulus. So, you know, I just want people to just honestly, just take a two-sided coin approach on this. Yeah, we may see ultimate fucking gains. We really might. I'm personally not convinced. I'm personally not convinced at this point. I've not seen nothing come out from the FSA, from Japan, from their regulatory body to suggest that we've got a definition of XRP. Is it a currency? Is it a commodity? What the fuck is it? Banks will want this in black and white before they start using these assets. Listen, that's just fucking common sense. You don't need to be knowledgeable for that, do you know what I mean? It needs to be regulated. It needs to be a managed market where people can be held accountable for bad actors, for manipulators, for the wash traders. Because that's all, it's been a rinse and repeat. You'll see new money, it comes down, new money, and it'll go down the further leg. And they're pushing this down. We're in an accumulation period for these digital assets, for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, for XRP. We're in an accumulation phase as far as I'm concerned. People will say that, you know, I mean, the institutions are balls deep in this. They've been buying OTC, they really have been. You know, it's undoubtable, but listen, they'll want more. They're greedy. Bankers are greedy. So the price suppression may go on into 2020. Ask yourself, are you prepared to see it go into 2020? Are you prepared for it to happen? I'm prepared, but I know there's a lot of people in this market that are in it for a quick buck, that are in it because they think SBIVC is going to moon the price over fucking night because of tweets that Yoshi Kitawa said that SBIVC will be the #1 exchange in the blink of an eye. Above your Binances, your Coinbases, above them all. It'll be #1 in the blink of an eye. That means volume. That means volume coming into the exchange. And if we've got a lot of volume coming into XRP and it's buying volume, then yeah, we will see that monumental fucking rise that people have been waiting for, that have been eagerly anticipating. But on the contrarian view, you've not got regulators there. We're talking about institutional players through the SBIVC. Are they willing to put up their billions of capital to buy an asset that's not regulated, that's susceptible to fraud and manipulation? I don't think they're going to be. But I know one thing is for certain, these regulations are coming thick and fast. Vladimir Putin has issued his regulatory bodies that they've got 4 weeks to come out with a classification. We've got the UK, that is around April, classification. We've got Japan supposedly this month, classification. We've got Thailand, we've got Malaysia. We've got the EU, we've just had, I forgot his name now, in the EU, obviously advising, but again, listen, regulators don't move fast, but listen, it appears that something is happening. You've got the Basel III requirements. Every single banker on the fucking planet by September has to have an API interface. Now ask yourself that fucking question. Why are they making banks have an API interface, otherwise they won't be able to bank? Why are they making that happen? Why has that regulation been brought in globally for banks to have an API interface by September? Listen, we all know what the application plugin is, and we know where that motherfucker plugs in to the Interledger protocol. We know it does. We've seen it. We've seen the documentations from the central banks, from the Federal Reserve. They're all talking about the Interledger protocol. I find it fucking ironic that they are being forced to adapt some form of API plugin, Because when the dollar comes crashing down, ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you one thing. Interoperability will be key in order for markets to function. For one central bank to be able to communicate with another central bank without having to pass through that bullshit US dollar. It's the reality, ladies and gentlemen. It's called the Triffin's Dilemma. My battery's about to die, so I'm going to have to actually cut the video short of that. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, everyone, for dropping in by. I've not really been able to read the comments. Maybe next time I'll do it pulled over. It's actually perfect, this, because I'm coming up to a toll station. So I can actually get off the phone because I don't know how to fucking turn it off. But no, thanks, guys. Remember, check out our Twitter. Scott's on Instagram. He's absolutely fucking smashing it on Instagram at the minute. Scott, he's doing a fucking incredible job at the moment as far as I'm concerned. Chris, Demore, everyone else, the Telegram group, all the contributors, the admins. It's been a pleasure.